Hey guys, here we go into a video on pad work and Tom Yankello's pad work with Roy Jones for the Mike Tyson fight, and some of the things that he's doing wrong that kind of contributed to some of the colossal failures in that fight for him. And one of them is the pad work. Now, while this is flashy and looks fun, and he's tapping it, and he's throwing all these punches, and this looks all awesome and cool, is it really effective in the ring? You know, is that going to do it? Is that going to cut it when your opponent comes to get you, right? Like, take a look at this clip here. They liked this clip so much, they sequenced it twice, okay? They're practicing this clip particularly, okay? But look at the position that Jones is in the whole time he's throwing this combination. Nearly on the front foot. He's not changing positions. He's not transferring his weight. He's not crossing the line. Just real quick, if you're interested in learning how to change positions, cross the line, or transfer your weight, those are the three key fundamentals of boxing for my boxing theory. And all of proper boxing is learned through these three core concepts. Now, Roy Jones Jr. not really exhibiting any of those when he's on the pads here with his coach. Now, there's other failures with these pads as well, as you can't have just floppy pads like this. You need the hard ones. You need to be able to put your weight into the shots and know you have that you're getting power, and know that your student is getting power as well, right? These are not for getting power, but they are fun and flashy, right, as we can see. Now, what we want to look at here, this is the combination in particular. Now, Roy Jones is going to get on the line, and he's going to throw these three punches as fast as he can and then stay there. But I want you to pay attention to the fact that he's not really changing positions, crossing the line, transferring his weight, or augmenting these punches where there's no rhythm in there for him to do any of those things in case his opponent slips these punches. Now, real quick, when you're on the pads and you're throwing a 1-2 and you're not changing positions and it's all to set up the 3, you have to understand that those first 2 punches are setup punches, and they're used to get your opponent into the position in which you can land what's supposed to be your power punch. And as you can see on the pads, they're working that 1-2-3, and they work this combination over and over and over again. So let's take a look at it in action in the Roy Jones fight. Oh, not that one. We're going to look at that clip too. Right away, Roy Jones shooting the 1, the 2, and then the 3. And if we look at that clip, we'll just play it real quick. Boom, boom, boom. Tyson slips the jab easily. Then the 2 goes there, and he slips and catches the 2. And then Roy Jones is throwing the 3 in the same position that Mike Tyson was in before he slipped. Now, again, and then he eats a body shot, right? Mike Tyson finds himself in this position and eats a punch. Now, Roy Jones' best combination, the one that he practices over and over and over again, Mike Tyson made it look, like child's play getting around it, right? No problem at all. Lands a body shot, and then Roy Jones is holding. Now, again, a few things that I want to point out to you. When you feint with your right hand, or you use your right hand to set up your punch, right? If it's not the last punch in your arsenal, it's used to set up your next punch. And that means that you're going to be throwing your left hook, which means that you're assuming that your opponent slipped your right hand, right? If you're assuming that your opponent slipped your right hand, that means that they're going to be on their front foot. That means that they're going to be on the right side of your right arm, as Mike Tyson is going to slip to the front foot. He's going to bring his head to his front knee. Now, Roy Jones should know this. He should know where Mike Tyson's head is going to be if he slips the right hand. But he doesn't seem to know where his head is going to be by the way and the placing of his left hook here, as it goes into a position that Mike Tyson is no longer in. And now he's left eating a body shot because of the fact that he threw all his punches into a place that Mike Tyson had already moved out of. Why is he throwing a punch into a position that Mike Tyson is not? Anyway, here are a few more little clips of it. Roy Jones throwing a 1-2-3, and again, missing wildly with the same combination. Mike Tyson easily getting around these jabs, right? Baiting the jab here, getting around the right hand, and then the hook missing again. Again, when you're throwing your 1 and your 2, if neither of those are your power punch, and you're looking to exit the line after you throw a power punch, those punches are used to set that punch up. Why is it that Roy Jones Jr. is not finding his target with his left hook if he's throwing so many punches to set it up? Again, it's a huge fault in some of his pad work here. And again, finding himself in that same position, 1, 2, throwing punches at the same spot and not being able to come back with the hook. And Mike Tyson easily getting around these punches and coming back with his own leaping left hook here. I know he doesn't really land it right there, but that's not the point. Now again, Roy Jones throwing that same combination. 1, 2, 3. Missing the hook. Again, eating a jab for his troubles. And Mike Tyson easily hitting him with a shot and then weaving that hook and rolling that shot super well. Just a phenomenal performance from Mike Tyson. But again, you can see constantly Roy Jones trying to enact that combination that he's practiced on the mitts tirelessly with his coach. That very flawed and poor technique that is not viable in a fight. It doesn't really work. You're not really able to transition or move your weight and make those punches meaningful enough. Now, another little gripe that I have about it, and again, we're going to take a look at it. We'll just take a look real quick. There's not a lot of weight in these shots, right? So how do we know he's getting his weight into them? And it's not just them smacking the gloves against the pad, right? Because Yankello is smacking the pad against the glove, and Roy Jones is smacking his glove against the pad, and together they're kind of playing patty cake, right? How do we know there's power in there? Well, we know there's no power in there because as he's throwing these punches and tapping Mike Tyson, as Mike Tyson's trying to weave around these shots, hook comes there, got him. Right, a straight left hand gets him. Another left hand almost gets him, but he's tapping him, catches him with the hook there, catches him with the straight left there. And these punches, these controls, these motions that he's making with his hands that are intended to control the line, that are intended to keep Mike Tyson off the line, to keep Mike Tyson from coming forward and barreling forward and doing what Mike Tyson does, and they're not doing it. They're not working. And that's how you can tell, again, one of those little flaws in that kind of pad work and why you need to vary that kind of stuff. But again, mostly in the inefficiencies of his own 1, 2, 3, right? Not only did they herald Roy Jones as being, the hooker, right? As having one of the greatest hooks. But he can't seem to land it against Mike Tyson. He can't seem to set it up against Mike Tyson. And he's eating punches for even trying it, right? Now, we're going to take a look at a little bonus clip of Mike Tyson training. And we're going to talk about some of these core concepts real quick. About crossing the line, changing positions. As we get Mike Tyson a little more in the frame here. So, number 1, Mike Tyson here is on the back foot. And when he's on the back foot, his head is going to be, if we're talking about his next target, we know his target is going to be here. Here. So his head, when there's a line from this target to his head wants to be on the right side of that line. Now when he throws his right hand, he's going to cross that line. As you can see, he's going to bring his weight from this neutral zone. Again, it's going to be in the middle of his body, right? Not on the front, on the back leg or on the front leg here. And then he's going to throw and drag his weight from the back foot, or that neutral zone, to the front foot. Now there's going to be a much more succinct line from the top of his head to the floor between his left heel and then his right heel. And at the same time he does that, he's going to transfer his weight. And that's going to be what allows him to get power into these punches. Not only is it that he's transferring his weight, but he's going from one side of the line, on the back half of his line, to cross the line with the right hand, getting his weight to the left side of his target. Then, when he throws his left hand, he's going to do the exact same thing, and he's going to go from the front foot, and he's going to bring all his weight to the back foot. Now, notice when he ends this punch, his head is much more in a succinct line here. But also, he's going to be going from the left side of that target, this target here, and bringing his head to the right side of the target. Notice his head is on the other side of that target. Now, constantly going through these motions and finding his target is going to be what allows him to much more easily do things like this and embarrass Roy Jones Jr., who's throwing combinations in one spot on the line, while Mike Tyson can do this, slipping off the line and then moving into these punches. Because he knows when he wants to get off the line of these punches, he needs to get to the outside of those gloves, outside of that line. And then in order to come back with the hook, he needs to cross that line and bring his weight back up so that he can find himself in a position to land it, right? Making an adjustment. Notice, when Mike Tyson bends his weight to the front foot here, this motion here is very similar to transferring your weight through the right hand. Notice that when he gets to this position, if he was throwing a right hand, he can still come up and throw the left hook and find his new target from this position to this position. Again, all in this one little scene, Mike Tyson is invalidating all of the training and the work that these two put into this 1, 2, 3. Now, again, we're going to take a few more clips, a few more clips at Mike Tyson doing the same thing again, crossing the line. He's on the back foot. Now he crosses the way to the front foot when he throws the right hand. Now he's crossing his way to the back foot, crossing the line. And then when he rolls under this shot, again, getting his way to the front foot again, crossing the line, transferring his weight, and changing positions. Again, Mike Tyson is just an animal, an absolute physical specimen. Even at 53 years old, doing things that, fighters half his age, fighters 18 years old are not able to do. At a pace, a rhythm, and a power at which, most people will only ever dream of. Anyway, just a really interesting video because Roy Jones said that Tom Yankello was the best coach on YouTube. And as long as I'm doing coaching on YouTube at all, I think that that's a flat-out lie. Anyway, if you guys are interested in learning how to cross the line, change positions, transfer your weight, and learn how to do these things that Mike Tyson is doing, I have heavy bag drills, double in bag drills, jump rope drills, shadow boxing drills, and I have other patrons that you can watch practicing and performing these things to teach you how to do them. I have several patrons that have, maybe a dozen patrons that have been with me for over a year, sending in videos and sending in training clips, and you can watch them progress and watch them get better, all without having to expose your own training, and, feel comfortable doing it at your own pace. Or you can do what a lot of people like doing and just sending in a video real quick, getting your tips and working on it on your own stuff. But again, it's private coaching. You can send them in. And I'm hoping this week to start doing some Zoom sessions as well. But maybe not, well, yeah, hoping to do some Zoom sessions this week. But anyway, also if you're interested to sign up, it's $20 a month, $20 to sign up, $20 a month. But it's also got a lot of the post-fight videos and the full film studies for the Teofimo Lopez versus Vasily Lomachenko, all kinds of other fights. That's a contemporary one if you're watching this in 5 years from now, whatever. Yeah, anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And again, the best coach on YouTube, you guys? Nah, man, nah. And one more thing, I think he watches my channel. I'm not joking.